See, as soon as the sun comes up, sound comes into the place, and I've turned it on and off according to, you know, what I'm doing. See how they turned it off as soon as I was coming to show it at the door, or to try to look for it. But it's a different production, different staged work production. It's right outside the door actually. I think I'll just open up and, well, I don't want to open up, but I don't want to go out, but it's right outside the door. So it goes on and off, but it's all it's all staged and set up, and it's one production. See, as soon as I go to speak, see. If these things weren't continuously set up day after day around you, if it was just even once a week, it wouldn't affect your senses and your mind. But because it's every day, I can't film it every day, but it's every day, without exception, except for Sundays. But they still have noise on a Sunday, but it's not like the major actual, you know, like next door, they can't do it, but you could still have the random staged neighbourhood where people make, you know, but anyway, I can't explain all this, but it's just a noise, continual noise, sound invasion of my ears, which is how you feel what comes into your ears. If you're always listening to people saying bad things, or you've always got loud mechanical productions around you which are very I don't know, they're anti-human, but they're also just in general, they're very unpleasant, disruptive noises to hear all the time. If you're living on a construction site, you know, literally in a whole suburb almost, wherever you go, it's you know, it creates a very unpleasant living environment to where you can't function. I don't know if this is coming out, but it's certainly coming into the house every day. And it's one production after the other. Actually, at the moment, there's two productions going on at once. One in the front of the, outside the front door, one outside the back door. And this is normal to have these things. One is enough, and sometimes even if they put it a few doors away, they make the sound so loud that it comes exactly the same into the house as like here. So they deliberately make, while they're doing work, they make it louder than they need to. That's what I would emphasise, and that's what most people would realise if they understood that machinery should be quieter these days, just as the vehicles should all be very quiet, because it's 2014. You know, we're supposedly in an advanced mechanical age, and yet you have all these excessively loud traffic that goes past you. Every vehicle making an excessively loud noise, and only when they go past you too, but they still, it's not natural or normal. And these the sun's only just come up, so it's patrol vehicle is pulling up right in front, but I'm not going to go out there to show it, but maybe I'll open the door and show it, but I don't want to do the patrol vehicles, but basically the way they pull in and out of you wherever you go, do turns in front of you, pedestrians always walk in front of you, always in front of you, always behind you, coming in all directions, but always to where they take over your sight and sound, or your senses. So that means what I see and hear is my full reality. That's the real world. So if you've always got psychopathic, stalker type people, because that's what it really is, even though they may or may not be full, but most of them are artificially intelligent machine beings that work for the powers that be. In other words, all things that relate to the country, they're your, you know, the armed forces, as they say, often have individual, personal occupations. They're skilled at certain things, so they employ them all over the city. And that's, you know, a productive thing to do if they weren't part of this anti-life, anti-human campaign, which is unfortunate, because really armed forces are about destruction. But if they do construction work, but while they're doing construction work, unfortunately they're doing destructive anti-life, anti-energy human work around isolated individual human beings as a form of scientific experimentation at the expense of the human race, because this is an artificial intelligent you know, pseudo-human race, you could say, because they're not like the natural born humans, they're artificial conceived beings. Whether it be, you know, how they make artificial intelligence or how they make artificially inseminated human beings, I don't understand the science or the medicine behind it, but we know these things exist. We just don't realise how prevalent it is, that it's a majority, but also that that they work against humanity, unfortunately, because they're part of these programs. This is the end time, end game situation, which has gone too far for human beings, if you are one of the unfortunate human beings that are being suppressed and taken down by it. Because I was taken, I'm, like physically injured at the moment in my body because of their energy sending me down. I'm not going to go into physical details, but to recover you should be in a conducive environment. But as you can hear, I'm not.